Welcome to the Enthusiast Gaming Podcast, where today we're going to be discussing controversial games, as well as what games we would like to see return. With me, as always, is my good friend Wes. Wes, how you doing?
What's going on, Matt? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you. And we got a special guest on for the beginning of our show, Vinny Goombatz. Vinny, how are you, sir?
Very good. I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me on, Wes and Matt.
Yeah, good to have you.
Pleasure to have you on. So Vinny actually streams for our Twitch team, and we're going to be talking about that in just a few moments. But real quick, just a bit of housekeeping. Make sure you guys follow us over on social media at Nerdthusiast. All the things. We're everywhere at that. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Consider supporting us over on Patreon. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. Now, the big topic right now is going to be Twitch. We are streaming on Twitch. If you guys didn't know that, we stream on Mondays with Taylor, Wednesdays with Vinny, and Saturdays Brad streams for us. That's the regular schedule. We do have other streamers that hop in from time to time, so definitely check us out over there. We wanted to bring Vinny on just to kind of discuss on what he's playing, what's going on over there, and to start out with the first topic of the show. He's going to answer that question for us as well. But Vinny, tell us, man, what are you doing over on Twitch lately?
Well, I got a little Terraria server I started up with some friends at work. Just had this itch to play it, and so we had a discussion. I was like, I got a computer sitting around. We could just have it running all the time. So we jumped in on the little Terraria server. We've been going through the game and just having some fun.
That's awesome. What kind of game is that? I've seen this game before. I don't know anything about it.
So the best way to put it, if you're aware of what Minecraft was, it's a 2D version of it. So with sprites, and it's got more depth. Minecraft is very open sandbox. You don't really have a plot or anything to do other than, hey, let's just build some cool stuff and maybe go down in the underground and fight a dragon. Terraria has different steps throughout the game. You can build whatever you like and, explore the world, but you also have sets of bosses you got to go through to progress through the world's item unlocks and different types of ore you can mine, etc., build armor, build houses, etc. So it's got a little bit more to it than that, and it's been going. It's a 10-year-old game now. It's pretty fun.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, is it like a hack and slash or Diablo-esque?
Okay, there are elements of the parts of Diablo that I've always loved is the treasure hunting, right? When you're going through mobs, you're fighting things, and somebody drops that perfect thing. Well, enemies don't drop items in this game. Enemies are just there to get in your way. You go through bosses and drops from treasure chests that also have random property rolls, just like in Diablo, where you'll have affixes that will give you plus to fire damage and weaker to ice. This sword might be, this one does faster attack damage and a higher DPS, and the random rolls on the stats every time. It's pretty cool. But it's kind of a hack and slash. It's just like I said, it's just this open world that once you start exploring, you usually are cave diving because you go down. It's 2D, so you can't really go too high up. And then you build what you want. And you go through the different sets of bosses that it offers, and they all scale in difficulty.
That sounds cool, man. I would probably be down to play that. Especially the 2D stuff gets me more than 3D stuff, so it's definitely a plus in my book.
Cool. Feel free to hop in the server. I can give you the info.
I might have to check it out. What are you playing on PC or what are you playing on?
It is. It's available on practically every system. I think even on your phone. I wouldn't recommend using your phone to play it, though.
Wouldn't recommend using your phone to play anything for the most part.
Not unless you got one of those cool controllers. I do have a Bluetooth controller that I did once hook up to my phone, but still, I wouldn't recommend it. I do use it for PC, but it is cross-platform, I believe, as well. So no matter what you get it for, you could use it and jump on the server. Nice.
Heck yeah. What time are you streaming at?
I always stream on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern until ? It depends. Usually around 2 hours is the average, but it can go a little later.
Awesome. I know you're playing Terraria now. What are some of the stuff that you played in the past or some of the stuff you might be wanting to play in the future?
So the next game I have on my list is called Choo Choo Charlie.
what the hell is Choo Choo Charlie?
It's the greatest idea ever. So listen to that unassuming name first of all, Choo Choo Charlie, and the both.
It sounds like a child's game.
Oh sure, I can't wait to show you what it is. It is basically a demonic train that has spider legs, that has a clown face on the front of it that chases you through this island, and you have to try and stop its like zealot cult that's trying to like pray to him and get him to come and rule the world. And you're there with these locals running your own little train that's got a mounted turret in the back that you upgrade as you do like little errands and tasks for the people on the island that want this spider train gone, all the while being chased by a giant spider train. It's crazy. This independent developer came up with it, and I was like, this is the weirdest but creepiest, greatest thing ever, because it's kind of a horror element to it, and that's definitely going to be the next game on the list. I've been itching to get it, and it just came out not long or early December.
That sounds awesome. So you have like sort of a you sound like sort of a wide palette. You're not like this is what I do. You're sort of like I'm gonna do whatever cool, interesting thing you find.
Absolutely. I do get stuck in ruts. I play the same games all the time. Magic the Gathering Arena is a card game that I play. But yeah, I love fighting. I don't play sport games. If there is one genre, unless you consider racing sports, I don't play like football or basketball or any of those kind of sport games. I feel like they're just a dime a dozen at this point. There's so many done. And, not to say that those things aren't fun in person, just not as a video game for me.
Yeah, I always liked them more when they were like arcade style, like over the top games and stuff. The realism, like doesn't completely suck the fun out, but it just I don't know. It's not as fun to play realistic sports games, in my opinion.
I don't know. Madden back in the day was great, though. You gotta admit. And the
I
2K
mean,
When it first,
balls. Yeah.
Yeah,
did
Madden's
you
great,
ever
no doubt.
you ever play Mutant League football?
That was awesome.
The
I
best.
worked with the producer on that. I worked with the guy that made the idea up.
What?
Yeah, Michael Menheim. He was
Tell
in
me
one of my
he needs to take it back from EA so he can do something with it again.
he resold it. What do you call that? Years ago, he did a what were those it's not a Patreon anymore, sorry. What are those
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter? Yes, he made a Kickstarter to bring it back and make it HD and stuff. Yeah, he did all that, and I don't know how far it got. I think it might have gotten out a little bit, but yeah, he definitely tried to bring it back.
That's rad.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
cool.
yeah. So let me ask you this. We talked about it in the beginning. We're gonna bring on this is gonna be the main topic of the show, but we want to get your opinion on here in the beginning. What game, or it doesn't have to be a franchise per se. I guess it has to exist in some sense because it's something you're bringing back. What would you bring back if you could bring back any game that's pretty much dead or dormant at this point?
So this is a loaded question for me. If you didn't know this, I'm a video game designer on like that's my full-time job. I've been in the video game industry for over, oh gosh, 13, 12 years now. And so I started mostly on MMO and now I'm in the gambling section. Sorry, long story short, I'll cut it up. Um, so it's always bothered me when I see remakes of games because I know there are so many ideas out there to come out, and you can definitely come up with new things. There's Choo Choo Charlie. Come on. You know what I mean? But I did think a little deeper about that because there's so many things that have been remade already that I've already really enjoyed. Final Fantasy VII Remake, fantastic. And they're taking it in a new light and going I really like where they're going with that in that direction. And so that got me thinking, well, there's games like Final Fantasy X had a mini game called Blitzball, and Final Fantasy VIII had that card game. And then I think it was called Terra Master. I'm kind of on a Final Fantasy kick about this too. That's kind of weird. Anyway, I would like to see the mini games get homage and have a full game release of just those mini games in those awesome games, because those are what I spent a lot of time in on some of those other games. I found it funny that those were never highlighted, or he came out as a mobile app or something to like resurge a little bit more hype for such a franchise that's been around for so long.
So you
Uh,
specifically want them like from Final Fantasy's past games? Is that
so
correct?
I guess that's where my head went with that question when you asked me that before we got started. There's definitely obvious ones. Battletoads would be a fun remake. They're already doing Dead Space. There's a very niche PlayStation 2 game called Zone of the Enders.
Oh my
Oh
It
god,
yeah.
had
awesome! That's a classic.
fantastic game. Maybe bring that back. Maybe expand on that universe a bit more. I'd like to see that.
They
You
made
know,
two
th-
of those Zone of the Ender games, right?
They
They
did.
did. Yeah.
And the second one was cell shaded, beautiful. It brought back a really cool gimmick where you were like basically teleporting everywhere. It was awesome. So that if there's a heavy vote, it's that one for me.
That's awesome.
I like that. I like that vote.
Yeah, definitely something unique. Not something I would expect. But, then again, we got Choo Choo Charlie over here, so we have I guess there was no surprise. Wes, do you have any other questions for Vinny?
No, man. Nah, it's awesome. I gotta check you out.
Come on through.
Definitely.
Again, if you guys want on the Terraria server, let me know.
Heck yeah. So you guys can go follow Vinny over on twitch.tv/nerdthusiast Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Is that correct? 8 p.m.?
8 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday.
There you go. Make sure you guys check out Vinny over there. So Vinny gave us his first one. Wes, what's your first pick?
My first pick of a game I would like to see come back. Okay, well, everybody knows I'm a big Sega fanboy. So my first pick has to be a Sega game. And it's Jet Set Radio. Man, I love that game.
It's a quality choice.
Absolutely.
The art style, the music, the gameplay. That was like a perfect game. It was totally original because it came from Sega. We know they're all about originality. But it was unlike anything we've ever seen or played when the first game came out.
Do you prefer the first one or the second one? Jet Grind or Jet Set?
Ooh, either one. Because Jet Grind was a little bigger because it was on the Xbox, so you had a bigger platform.
Jet Set was on the Xbox. Jet Grind was on the Dream.
Okay, was it?
Yeah.
Because in Japan, I want to say it was still called Jet Set.
I'm not sure, but the Dreamcast one was Jet Grind Radio.
And then
Jet Set Radio Future was the
Xbox one. Okay, so the Dreamcast import, the Japanese version was called Jet Set Radio still.
Oh, see, that's you and your imports. That's why you're getting all messed up.
I know, and they changed it when it came to America. But anyway, yes, that's my game of choice. That I would love to see them do a new one on the modern console with modern technology. Oh my God, it'd be awesome.
Amen to that. Didn't that game had like a cell shaded look too? I loved that. It was really unique for its time.
It did. So yeah, so that's the one game that's the top of my list. I need a new one. That's up there with Killer Instinct, but they gave me Killer Instinct, so I can't talk about that anymore.
In case you guys missed the first part, let's go back to Vinny's first choice real quick. Vinny, you picked Zone of the Enders. Why is that something you feel should be remade today?
Zone of the Enders is your typical mech battler, but it was just set in a really cool world and setting where you were jumping around colonies of Mars and in space. It was just a really cool idea on how you could upgrade, especially in the second one. I forgot the name of the bot you ran was called the Jehuti, but I can't remember their like overall name for the mechs. But you got to upgrade it in really cool ways. The story was pretty cool, especially with how they were going with the Egyptian theme too, and a lot of the names of the mechs that you fought. It was really cool. And just a simple beat 'em up though, 3D style beat 'em up if anything. But it was a lot of fun, and I'd like to see them expand more on that world. I just like space travel and all that kind of really cool mech fighting. So
that was a Kojima game, was it not?
I think it was a Hideo Kojima game. Yeah,
it was. It was.
Interesting.
And it wasn't as well known, like Wes mentioned.
That game was great. It was fast paced. It had mechs in it. You know, the Metal Gear Solid demo was a bonus, but if you took the time to actually play Zone of Enders, that was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, I passed on it. I think I actually bought it on PS2 like years after it came out. I never ended up getting around to it, unfortunately.
I actually preferred the first one more than the second one.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the difference for you on that? Like the first between the second that really changed it for you?
As good as the second one was, it was more of, okay, we've already did this. You know, and whereas the first one was very original, and then the second one was like more of the same. Even though they
Yeah.
enhanced upon it, it was just more of the same,
Agreed.
and that's not a bad thing.
Oh, I'll play the same thing over and over.
Let me keep the theme here with originality and artistic views. My first pick is Beautiful Joe from Capcom. This was a GameCube exclusive. Looked like I don't even know, like a comic book came to life almost, sort of. But it
Cell
was like,
shaded.
yeah, it was like a fighting beat 'em up. Yeah, it was cell shaded, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. That game was a blast to play. So much fun.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. I remember seeing like in the mags, like the pictures of it, the previews for Beautiful Joe, and it looked amazing.
Well,
And then we actually got to play it, and it was like great.
They made 2 on GameCube, and did they ever make a third one or no? Because eventually it came to PS2. I remember that happened, because that was like, oh crap, one of these exclusive Capcom games came over to PS2.
Yeah, I think it was the second one that came out for PS2, though. The first one stayed GameCube exclusive, if I'm not mistaken.
So there's Beautiful Joe 2, and Beautiful Joe
Red Hot something,
Red
right?
Hot Rumble. Yeah.
That's what it was.
So I don't know if Red Hot Rumble is just like a silly fighting game. It looks like it's just a fighting game.
I think that's what happened. They made a spin-off and it sold poorly, and they were like, alright, that's it.
Yeah. That's really funny that all three of our picks have a somewhat of a cell-shaded look to them. The second Zone of the Enders was cell-shaded, so it's kind of funny that our first picks are all like that.
Well, it's part nostalgia, right? Like, nobody, well, I'm not going to say nobody. Not many people are doing anything like that anymore, right?
No. Hades is the last game I can remember that might have done some cell shading that looked gorgeous. It's an absolutely beautiful game.
I need to check that one out.
Plus, too, you figure at the time, cell shading was relatively new technology, so everybody started to do it.
Yeah,
for sure.
All of our picks were in like the early 2000s, basically.
and it's a great way to like. Beautiful Joe was such a great homage to, remember the Comic Fighter or the Comic Zone?
Comic Zone, yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
And then, but you got also he's an actual hero with the cape and everything, and just the boss fights were so great. He was so tiny, yet all the things were so big. It was so fun.
Yeah, I played the hell out of that. But Vinny, what is your second pick?
Second pick I went with. This is a game that was specifically on the Dreamcast. I have yet to ever see it anywhere else.
Oh, you're just sucking up to Wes now. You're sitting here talking about it.
I'm a Capcom.
He knows that's my favorite system.
Well, I get it. Look, 1999, September 9th, 999. It was a great way to release it, and poor Sega went down from there, but it did have some gems, and Cannon Spike is a big one for me. It was a top-down beat-em-up where you got to play as different Capcom characters throughout many franchises that they had, and it was really difficult. It was a really hard game. You got to play as Little Red Riding Hood that shot like a giant cannon. No joke.
I'm not familiar with this game at all. I'm very intrigued, though.
Really?
It's fun. It's a shoot 'em, bullet hell almost kind of beat 'em up kind of thing where you fight these really hard bosses and you just got to get through 10 or 12 levels. I've never beaten it. It's really hard, even on the
super hard.
Yeah. And it's a great, just if you want to kill 20 minutes, pick it up and go. And it's multiplayer. So
and you
fun.
Played as Nash because it had Capcom characters in it. So you played as Nash from Street Fighter.
Yep.
He was in it.
Mega Man
was in it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. It was really cool.
But this was a Dreamcast exclusive?
I haven't. Wes, correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen it anywhere else, and that's why I'd like to see it redone and kind of plussed up and done some fun stuff with it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere else other than Dreamcast.
You let me know when that's in your store, Wes. Even though I'm sure it's probably like a $250 game at this point.
Well, we could check Game Eye.
We could. This is our weekly intro to Game Eye. If you guys don't have Game Eye, go download it. It's a free app. You can track your collections on there. They do not sponsor us at all, but we just love their app. It's fantastic. They got a website that's going to be starting soon. So Game Eye, go get it. But yeah, you can check prices on there too.
It's pretty expensive. Yeah,
What are we
complete
talking
in
about? Two
box,
fifty.
280.
Dude, this is how good I am. Why do you guys not know how good I am? I don't even know never heard of the game before. Know it's on Dreamcast. I can ballpark a figure for you just off of the way you described it and the fact that it was a Capcom game on Dreamcast. Hell yeah.
That's it. That's
Pat myself
it.
on the back. Well, that sounds awesome. I want to check that out. Wes,
Fun one. Highly recommend.
what's your number 2?
My number 2 is a fighter, and they made a couple of them. Yeah, I know. Believe it or not, man. You know, people have learned that I'm a Sega fanboy. I love anime. I love comic books, and I love my fighters. I gotta have my fighters. So this one was original when it first came out. It was a one-on-one fighter, but it was bloody roar, man. You know, your
Nice.
fighter can morph into an animal and had whole different move sets and powers and
So real. I turn into a tiger, claws ripping flesh, or a gorilla, and no, Mr. Quigley, or a wolf, bloody fangs. What do you think, Doc? Humans can turn into animals.
Not so far-fetched, Doctor. PlayStation.
it was great. They did it for PlayStation, then they did it for PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm.
They did one for Xbox, and they did one for GameCube. But since then, they haven't done another one. And I love that series, and I want them to do another one.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years, I'm sure, right? Probably closer to 15 or 20 at this point, I
Mhm.
would assume.
Yeah, it's been, it's probably that long. Yeah.
They got up to Bloody Roar 4, I believe. I think it's the last one on PlayStation 2.
Yes.
I'm sure it was during the PS2 era. It's got to be. I don't remember seeing it since then.
It started on PlayStation and finished on the GameCube, Xbox, the Triforce and PS2 era.
Was this a 2D or 3D fighter? Because I didn't play this one either.
It was a 3D fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 3D fighter enclosed. So you were in
Enclosed?
enclosed. You were in like a cage.
Or like a ring or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It always had collision walls.
Interesting.
I too enjoyed that game quite a lot. It was really good. I do have to say I didn't enjoy the later pieces into it, but that's only because I'm a true fighting game person, and they had a lot of infinites. They had a lot of just you could put somebody in the corner and juggle them, and then you're not getting out of it. But it was such a cool concept in game. I did love that idea.
It was great. Just, powering up your character and then morphing in the middle of a fight into like a wolf or a tiger, and it completely changed your move set, which was awesome.
Yeah. Really cool graphics too for its time.
So they had different they were humans that morphed into animals. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Every character was like that.
Every character.
Okay. I'm sure you got some weird ass characters out of that, like some fishman or some shit.
They were like with wolves. There was tigers. I think there was a lion. I'm trying to remember what some of the girls were. I don't know. It had a good variety of animals. It was good.
They should have had a special Dreamcast edition where they released the fish from Seaman. Put him in there.
Oh man, that's it. Yikes.
Because that's what I was saying. Like, we have these anthropomorphic
man.
animals. Are like, where's Seaman at in there? That's a Dreamcast exclusive. Poor Leonard Nimoy. What the hell was he thinking doing that? He was the voice of that thing.
It was original. It was original. That's for sure. Matt, what's your second pick?
My second pick is I'm curious to see what Vinny thinks about this, because if you paid attention, you already know that Wes and I love this game. Staying with the Sega theme, Condemned, Criminal Origins, specifically the first one I love a lot. The second one I never beat. I played it, was good, but not as good as the first one. I would love to see that come back. It's one of my favorite horror games ever. that first person view. When I found out that Resident Evil was going to go first person, everybody's like, first person. Like, you don't understand how good Condemned was. Like, this is going to be great. And sure enough, Resident Evil came back with 7 hard. But that's just the way it is. When you're first person, it makes a huge difference. And this game really showed me that. The melee combat, it was scary as hell. I love this game. Vinny, Wes will talk about it too. But I'm curious about what you think, because I don't know if you've ever played this before or not.
I haven't. I'm looking at images of this, though. This is right up my alley. I wish I knew about it, and I definitely will get my hands on it and try it out. Love horror games, and you're right. First person really is the way to go, in my opinion, with a good horror game.
Hell yeah. Check it out on Steam or something. It's probably like $1 on Steam. That game's like, from like 2008, maybe something like that. It's from back then. No, 2007. I think it was a launch game.
It was a launch game.
Oh, that would have been 2005.
wow.
2005.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a launch game.
Wow.
It was scary. It had its moments. The mannequins, that's it.
Oh, mannequins.
Had to put it down for a minute.
I love that. Choo Choo Charlie, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, if you like Choo Choo Charlie, you definitely need to be checking out Condemned, man.
Condemned. Yeah, right. I think I got to check this out. This looks really cool.
The first one, not the second one.
Okay.
The first one's definitely better. Vinny, what's your third pick?
It's kind of simple. It's not as intricate as the others. There was a game I played a lot in the back of the day, a PlayStation title, Jet Moto. Quick racer with these futuristic little, they look like jet skis, but they just float. And the course design was really fun. And they had grappling hooks later on for like really high speed and tight turn maneuvers. So it was a really fun and fast-paced racer that, it was not much of a battler. You didn't have weapons or anything, but you could knock your other opponents off the racing vehicles. It was fun. It was just something I haven't seen.
These released on PS1. Was that entire series only on PS1? Did it ever migrate to PS2 or anywhere else after that?
Let's find out.
I don't think so. I think you had 1 and 2 for PlayStation 1.
I think you had 3 on PlayStation.
You went up to 3. It did. It's only
That's
1,
right.
2, and 3. Yeah. It didn't go any further. I think they were like, we ran our course here and we're done. Yeah. Who does that? It was Sony Interactive. It was an in-house game too, so it wasn't anybody. No special studio got a hold of it, like 989 or anybody like that. I enjoyed this. Jet Moto 2 was the one where I had a lot of hours into it. Very hard game, but a lot of fun because it was very fast.
Yeah, I don't have too much familiarity with it. I played it for a little while. I got my PS1 late, so I missed out a lot of titles on PS1, unfortunately. I was more familiar with like Wave Race 64 and stuff like that. So I mean, I definitely played. I played my fair share of like wave racing games. Wave Race 64 was awesome. Another title called I'm gonna forget its name. I don't want to forget its name. I can see the box in my damn head.
Hydro Thunder.
Hydro Thunder's rad. That was a boat.
Yeah,
that was great. Hydro Thunder was fantastic.
But
very intense.
There's another one that I can't think of right now. It's called like one of the subtitles. Oh, Splashdown. Splashdown.
I was going to say Splashdown.
Yeah.
With the jet skis.
It's crazy.
Those games are fantastic. They're so much fun. I'm so glad you brought that up because a lot of people were just like, I'm not going to play this. It looks stupid. Like, no, dude, these games are awesome. They're like really fun. Right? This is like my point earlier when I was talking about how sports games, I don't like the super realistic stuff. I like the arcade style stuff. And this is like right up my alley.
Yep. I'm with you.
Wes, did you check out Jet Moto?
I did. It was an early release for PlayStation, so I scooped up whatever I got, whatever came out. It was fun. The second one was a lot better because they definitely improved upon it. The third one I really didn't spend a lot of time on, but it was a fun game.
I bet
with that one.
That thing had like a great soundtrack, right? I feel like it had a great soundtrack.
At least that's what the ones jump out to me is the second one had a good soundtrack that like I could like hear the songs now and be like, oh man, it throws back. It wasn't anything composed from anybody special though. It was just, run of the mill. I mean, I'm not saying that. Sorry, anybody watching this that's like related to the composer. He's like, hey, what the heck? Sorry. But it's like not, Hans Zimmer didn't have his hands on it either. That's
for sure.
It wasn't a Wipeout XL soundtrack.
Right? Okay. I did love that soundtrack, actually.
That's a Prodigy, man, of course.
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome. I actually didn't know that. That's amazing.
Firestarter. Come on, man.
They had the actual soundtrack. Okay, wait. I didn't realize that. I have that game too. That's sad.
Yeah, it's on the first. Did it have a subtitle? No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, just the first one. It's like is it the opening song?
No, it was
one
one
of
of
the
the
maps?
songs. Yeah, it was one of the maps.
I just played this like last year and I can't remember because I fixed my PS1 last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
not special. Easy fix.
Wipeout soundtrack was so good they released a separate CD of the soundtrack by itself.
Back
Dang.
then,
Yeah,
see,
because
that's
Sam
what
Goody had it. Sam Goody was selling them.
It's kind of bad if people bought that because you could always take your PlayStation CDs and put them in a CD player and it would play the music tracks on there. So it's unfortunate if people bought that, but I guess they didn't know.
I didn't even know that. I mean, I knew that
Yeah.
it was like a CD sound. I just didn't know you could just pop it into a CD player and just read it like a music disc.
A good amount of them did it, yeah.
That's rad. I
Mm.
like that. Wes, where are you going with number 3, sir?
You know what? Vinny talked about a racing game. I got to follow suit on this one. Extreme G Racing. I remember playing it when the first one came out on Nintendo 64. It was a race as like a motorcycle futuristic racing game with weapons. But the cool thing was, is like once you broke the sound barrier, the whole game kind of went silent until you crashed, and then all the sound came back.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. And then they did the second one, of course, which improved upon everything the first did right, better graphics. Then it came out for PS2, so everything was cleaner.
Wait, the first Extreme G was on PS1?
No, it was on Nintendo 64.
What a jump.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Because I had a GameCube version, so that would make sense.
Yes, it did come out for GameCube also, the second one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was N64, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Man.
1 and 2.
Pretty cool.
Wipeout was on N64 also.
It was.
I
but
didn't know that.
It was nothing like the PlayStation 1 version, though.
Well, Sony owns Wipeout now, so how did that happen? They must have acquired the company that was making Wipeout, and then they ended up with the IP. I'm assuming that's what happened.
Psygnosis did Wipeout. Because
okay,
Wipeout
then that's exactly what happened, because Sony did own Psygnosis, so that is what happened.
Well, Wipeout also showed up on the Saturn, too.
Wow.
Wipeout was on Saturn?
Yes, sir. It's sitting on my shelf.
I bet you that's another $200 game right there, at least.
Sitting on my shelf.
I might even be more, man. I didn't have no idea Wipeout was on Saturn.
Man, I love Wipeout so much. I bought it for everything it came out for. Whatever platform, I bought Wipeout. Even though it was essentially the same game with different maps, it's still Wipeout. I loved it. So yes, I need Extreme G Racing to come back.
Sounds awesome.
I'd definitely be down for that. My final pick was Torturous at the Game Awards. I'm sure I know some people were like all happy and stuff, but I heard the music right away and I was like, oh my god, what's happening? This little Konami logo happening. Little Castlevania coming back. No, it's a Dead Cells expansion for Castlevania, which is cool. Like Dead Cells is cool, but how are you going to do me dirty? How are you going to? You don't talk about Castlevania for years. You put out a little collection here, there. Actually, like every collection here, there, everywhere. No new game. And then the first new announcement is tied into Dead Cells, which is a great get for them. That's awesome. But all I want is a new Castlevania game. Can't I just get a new Castlevania game in the vein of Symphony of the Night?
Well, I was going to say, because we did get some semi-recently on 360 and PS3.
You talk about the Igarashi Bloodstained game that he did?
No, it wasn't Bloodstained. No,
you said PS3? Those are... Yeah. I don't want... All right, let me be specific. I do not want a 3D Castlevania game. I want a 2D Castlevania game.
Side scroller.
Yeah.
Side scroller, yes.
No 3D. I think they could probably make a cool one, but they've made so many bad ones that I don't even want them to burn that bridge. Just give me a 2D one. Let me satisfy that first, and then you can try again at the 3D space.
I mean, look, they took Metroid and they redid it properly with that latest release.
Dread, dude,
Yeah.
Dread was so good.
And you can do that with Castlevania. Like they showed you, like, look, you can give us a 2D, it can work. Give us something like that for Castlevania.
Now I want to play Dread. Maybe we can just get a sequel to Dread. I'll take that also. That's number 2 on my list. We need a sequel.
There you go.
Man, Dread was great.
Dread made
Really
me
well
mad.
done.
I put it down because I got stuck because I couldn't beat it. I got mad.
You just got to figure out how the Emmys work. That's all. Each one's a little different.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the Castlevanias for Nintendo 64? Good, bad?
Are you asking me or Vinny?
Both.
I'm not a fan.
Okay.
It was tough.
I didn't even bother playing that trash. I saw it on N64. I was like, no. Mm-mm. I messed around a little bit with like the PS3 era stuff, and it just something's off. It's not right.
Okay.
It's not right.
I got you.
Mm-mm.
Well, now Konami has to give Matt a proper Castlevania game.
Konami ain't give me nothing, man. Nothing. They give me some remakes. They make me buy the same games over and over again.
Look,
All
man.
stuck on that.
If Rare and Microsoft were nice enough to give me Killer Instinct after 17 years, they'll give you a Castlevania.
I'm sure they will at some point, just because the show is really popular now, and
That was really good, though.
they're probably going to outsource it though. They outsourced Silent Hill. The Silent Hill 2 remake is being outsourced to Bloober Team. I think is the one who's making it. It's like clearly they have nobody left. Once they got rid of Kojima and stuff, it's like they don't have any studios left. And if they have studios, sorry, there might be 5 people working there. I'm sorry, I offended the 5 people that still work at Konami on these ports. But nobody's over there making new games. Don't be lying to me. I know nobody's over there making new games. Shit, they probably didn't make the ports. They probably had somebody else make the ports for them too. I bet you didn't even do that. But if you want a gym membership, go see Konami. You want a pachinko machine, go see Konami.
Yeah, they're good at that. That's what they're all known for over there now.